What's up, guys? This is Black Hollywood Live. We're talking Insecure episode 4. Should you be in an open relationship? I don't know. Stay tuned.
Song gets you in trouble.
Right.
Oh, it does.
The kiss and grind.
Hey.
Saw how that ended up. What's up, guys? My name is Mariel Turner. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Mariel_Turner. We are getting into Insecure tonight. Ladies, you want to introduce yourselves?
Hey, Black Hollywood Live family. It's Ashley Allen here, and you can find me on all social media at Ashley Reed Allen.
What's up, BHL fam? I'm your host, Christine Alexis, and you can find me all over social media at Christine Bean with 3 E's. Super hyped to be on this panel. I've never done a BHL show.
Yes, so welcome.
I'm excited.
It's a fun one. It's definitely a fun one.
Yes.
A show like this, too?
I know.
Perfect.
I know.
Oh.
So we're going to talk about Hella LA, which is episode 4 out of 8, by the way. So the season is halfway over, guys. I can't believe it.
That's crazy.
I know.
We
it's
just got
insane.
started.
I
Just
know,
good.
right? Look, HBO, add some more episodes for
Yes,
At
please.
least 10.
You already
Yeah.
know.
Like a solid 10.
At
I
least,
feel like.
at least. So we start with the ladies. You know, they're pre-gaming for this kiss and grind day party, which is an actual party in LA. In case you guys didn't know this.
We need to be there then.
Right.
Have you guys ever been?
I
know.
No, I was just talking to Ashley. Like, we should go. There's one next week.
Down.
So
Let's go.
we should
All right.
go. We should go. So you know, Molly's taking her sweet time getting ready. Issa's like, "Girl, hurry up! I'm trying to be on my hoe grind, basically." And so they arrive at the party, and Issa, kind of being the character we've come to know and love, is being very awkward and like,
Very.
I'm gonna be out here, I'm gonna find these men, and it really doesn't seem very genuine for her character.
No.
Like,
She's being very thirsty.
yeah.
And it's like, it's funny to watch, but at the same time, I'm like, girl, this is not you.
Mhm.
Like, she looking at the bouncer,
Right.
looking at all these guys. She's just like, anybody who even looks at her, she's like, okay, let's go.
Right.
Yeah, that was honestly very cringeworthy for me because, like, I
Mhm.
get it. You know, you want to have your whole phase. You want to just go for it. She got a little action last week.
She
so
did.
Yeah.
Herself.
I get that, but, like, the same. Like, when she was like, oh, the bouncer could get it, too, I was like, Issa, like, just
Calm
chill.
down.
Like, let it come to you. Like,
Right.
she has a lot to offer, so I hope that she would just take it down a notch.
Yeah.
Yeah, she seems to be doing a little much. So, you know, they have a table. Kudos to them.
Mhm.
Right.
And they don't have to stand around.
Even though it's all the way in the back.
Right. which
But
But
it's
how,
still a table.
how relatable was that scene, though, with the girls trying to come over and sit in their section?
Oh, yeah, no.
It's like,
Yeah, I've been out where people try and just crowd your section like
No.
that, and it's a struggle. I've also been those girls on the other end of it,
Right.
too, so
But
I
see,
can't even lie.
There's called club manners. You ask, can
Hello.
I sit here? Do you mind? Don't just walk up
Exactly.
here. What?
Right.
No.
I paid for this girl.
Exactly.
Like, no. So, you know, they're there, the 3 of them supposed to be hanging out as girls, and then Dro comes over. Molly's like, oh, you got food? I'm out. She leaves Issa and Kelly for the food, and then Kelly spots her boo if she's out. So it's kind of Issa awkwardly standing around, like, doing her own thing. And while she's doing that, she spots Daniel from across the way. So, ladies, I wanted to ask you, you know, if you see an ex in public, ex hookup, ex boyfriend, do you go over and speak, or are you like, eh?
I'm not going to go out of my way. Like,
Mhm.
eventually we will meet up with each other, but I don't feel like I need to go out of my way, especially if he's with a whole another group of people that I may not know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really going to go out of my way to create an awkward situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly said. That situation's awkward enough. So I think I would probably, like, make myself be seen, like, put myself in a position for you to see me, maybe so you could come approach me first, because I know
Yeah.
I'm just awkward as hell, and I'm not going to know what to say, so I'd rather you come to me, and then I'll just, you know,
Yeah.
not like Issa and be like, I'm single, you know. I would just play it
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
And it was odd to me because I agree. Anytime you see an ex, especially if you ended on weird terms, like to go over there and actively like, oh, let me start this conversation. It's kind of like if they approach me, then
Yeah.
okay.
Right.
But Issa does not take that route. She talks to Molly. Molly's like, oh, be an adult. go say hi. And I feel like we all knew, knowing Issa, that this was going to be some awkward.
Of course it is.
Some awkward mess. She goes over there. She's like, hey, you know, I know we ended on weird terms. Sings the Living Single theme song, which had me dying. I was like, what?
And poor Issa, like, Daniel kind of seemed like, I don't want to say over it.
Yeah.
But he was very cool, very nonchalant, like, it's cool, it's okay. And she, which makes her look like she's the one in her feelings. And she really was.
She definitely was. I mean, for her, I think it was a moment for her to make herself feel better about what happened, because she took that moment to apologize for how she used him.
Right.
And, like, I guess pat herself on the back after. But it was just so weird. I don't know. Like, I couldn't do it.
So weird, so awkward. And I agree, it was very much like Daniel was like, oh, you know, I'm cool, I'm chilling. I haven't, like, thought about you much. Like, that's kind of the vibe I got. And, I mean, I'd give Issa credit for speaking in a way, because I wouldn't do it.
No. And might I add, I don't know what Daniel has done this season, but he's looking mighty.
Yeah, you know, I feel like he's always looked pretty yummy on the show.
Okay, Team Daniel over here.
Yeah. I think everyone on the show, like all the men, they're
Insecure has done a great job of casting.
The casting, right?
Yes. I don't know.
You think he's looking a little?
Yeah.
Maybe I grew the beard out a little, you know.
Maybe I'm a sucker for beards, so maybe that's what it is.
Maybe it's that unbothered glow.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm like, I'm doing better. I'm not fazed by that.
That's what it is.
That's what it is. Exactly what it is. So meanwhile, we see Lawrence, and he's in his own place. He's not living on Chad's blow-up mattress anymore. So slowly moving up in the world, Lawrence. Good for you.
Good job.
And he's kind of doing his own thing. Chad hits him up like, hey, you want to meet up later? He's like, cool. So we see him leave his apartment, and he's stuck in horrible LA traffic, which we all know is like the worst thing ever.
Yes.
Trust. I was just in it.
Yes, horrible. And he makes a quick U-turn, like the driver's in front of him, and then he gets pulled over. And I think as a viewer, you're immediately like, oh no, is Insecure gonna go there? Is it gonna like reflect kind of what's going on in the country?
Right.
Yeah, it definitely made me kind of feel nervous for him at first.
Well, yeah, and I think that scene by itself kind of just showed like what goes through the mind of Black men in particular when they get pulled over. You saw he changed the music, he sat up straight, like he did everything he could to kind of prevent an unnecessary situation, and that's definitely real life. And especially like the other cop that was standing at the back of the car, I didn't even see him there. After the other cop walked away, and he's like, keep your hands where you can see him. Like, that is so, I don't want to say unnecessary, but it can be a very scary situation, especially with what is going on in real life today.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, when the other cop was like, keep your hands where I could see him, that's when the scene became really real for me. Because like, I was nervous for him, but then the other cop just seemed like, all right, I was like, maybe it'll just be like a routine traffic stop. But then he puts his hand down for just a second, and the other cop's like, put them where I can see him. And that's when I was like, okay, Lawrence, like, just chill, because you want to make it out of here.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, because like, I was watching it live on Twitter, and a lot of Black men were just retweeting Yvonne Orji. She was tweeting it live, talking about that scene, and just all co-signing that they've all been in that position before, and like what their go-to station is to change it to so that they don't seem threatening. It's like any little thing could be the difference between you making it out of that traffic stop or not. And I like that the show went there.
Yeah.
Even the questions that the cop was asking Lawrence, oh, so where are you going? Is this your car? Like, what?
Yeah,
I
think
think that's very offensive, and it's like, what does that have to do with the traffic violation that you have stopped me for? Let's get to the point. So it's a shame to me that African American men have to almost learn how to deal with the police in a non-violent situation.
Yeah, and that's one thing I love about the show. It's not really afraid to place like realistic situations, because I think we've all probably had family or friends or been in situations ourselves as Black women where we were pulled over and felt like a little uneasy or asked weird questions. So I really appreciate the showrunners kind of putting that out there.
Yes.
And yeah, we see Lawrence. You can tell he's nervous because he empties his wallet by accident when he's trying to get his license. And after they check out the registration, it turns out the cop gets super friendly and is like, oh, you went to Georgetown? Like, I went to your rival school, ha ha ha. And Lawrence is like, okay, can I go
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
it's gonna escalate? And so he leaves. He's on his way to the grocery store, right? So he's in the grocery store, has his almost $50 worth of groceries, and he doesn't have his cards because I'm assuming they just fell out in his car during the traffic stop. So he's like, oh, let me just run. I'll go grab them. And then we have two ladies behind him who say, oh, no, I got it. Don't worry about it. I'll cover it for you.
Plotting.
Plotting. They knew. They're like, ooh, this 6 foot something.
Right.
Tall black man. We got to save. So they like, oh, we got it. He says thank you, walks out, assuming that's the end of it. And then they come out and they say, hey, what are you doing after? And he's like, nothing, I'm rolling with you.
He fell for it.
Yeah, he fell for it. Which, seeing Lawrence this season, it kind of makes sense,
It makes sense because he's in such a vulnerable place, whether he realizes it or not. Like, he wants that attention. He's looking from that attention. And now that Tasha is out of the picture, whether it's permanently or just for right now, like, I mean, you have two women who just paid for your stuff. They don't know you. They don't owe you anything. So now his attention is sparked. And they didn't even have to say much to him. He was gonna go through with whatever they told him to do.
And he was validated instantly.
Yeah.
These two girls, this was $42.10. That wasn't a $20 per
Right.
Like, that's a lot.
When I saw that, I was like, $46 for a man you don't know?
Yeah, so you're right. After what happened with Tasha, he's definitely feeling himself right now. But little did he know, he was not equipped to handle that.
He wasn't ready.
Did he know? We are going to get to that. So meanwhile, while he's, chatting up the two girls at the grocery store, getting ready to go home with them, we have Issa back at the party. And she originally went because she's meeting her Tinder boo, right? I'm assuming it's Tinder, or maybe it's OkCupid.
It looked like Tinder to me.
Yeah. One of the dating apps, right? So she's like, hey, I'm in the back. I'm at the courtyard. His name is Felix. He comes back there.
Classy Felix.
Classy.
With his glasses.
With his glasses. I was like, he looks like some kind of engineer.
Right.
I don't know. I'm stereotyping. But so he's like, oh, Issa, is that you? Do you always sound like this? Did you change your hair? You didn't look like this in the picture. And that's when I was like, first of all, that's kind of rude.
Very rude.
For someone you just met to be critiquing every little thing about them.
But I guess that kind of comes with online dating. You never know if what you see on their profile is really what you're going to get in real life. But the way that he went about it was kind of like, well, who are you to, judge me?
Yeah.
Like, you're not perfect either.
Hello.
All those, inner first date thoughts, he just let them out instead of just kind of processing it. He could have gave her some time to keep talking, see if, her personality was what he was used to. I mean, he just shut it down. He instantly ghosted her.
Yeah.
He straight up gave her the, see you later.
He ghosted her in person.
Right in person.
Right in her face.
Right to her face. And I'm like, I understand it's a day party, so it's not like you guys sit down for a traditional first date.
Right.
But you could still be polite enough to have, a nice, short, decent conversation.
5 minutes.
Right. At least 5 minutes. He talked to her for maybe 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And was like, hair, no, voice, no. I'm gone.
So I think this season alone, Insecure has definitely touched heavily on the online dating topic.
Right.
So do you guys think that this is the new norm for our age group? Are we doing online dating? No.
You want to handle that one?
I think we, as a group, as a collective, I think we definitely are. Most people I know have at least tried it between OkCupid, Tinder, Bumble. There's a ton of Christian Mingle, Black People Meet. I mean, it's just so many things you could use. So I do think it's pretty realistic that most of us are trying it. I don't know. What do you guys? Have you tried it before?
No. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm interested.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no. Let me rephrase. I don't think I would ever do online dating, but I'm interested in how it works.
Okay.
Is it effective?
Well, I mean, you won't know until you try.
Right.
It's one of
I've
those
tried
things.
it too.
I've tried it. I wouldn't say it's for me personally, but it's a lot to keep up with, especially if you have multiple profiles and there's the same way that there's this unspoken Instagram etiquette and social media etiquette. There's kind of the same thing with these dating apps. and you can very quickly weed out who's just trying to smash and who's
Right.
potentially on there for more. But most people are on there for one thing, so you have to also kind of like understand that before going into it, and like, you know, it's about what you want to take from it.
Right.
Yeah.
And for me, it just wasn't for me. So.
Yeah, and I think Issa's starting to find in her experience, it may not be for her either, because that whole episode with Felix was just a hot mess.
I wonder, do we have anybody in the live chat who's done online dating?
Let's see.
I think eventually, though, Issa went back to like what was familiar for her, because like the online dating was like too new and too much, and like she was you could see from the beginning of the episode she was losing herself trying to be someone she's not.
Yeah, she definitely
I
was.
feel like that's why she went back to Daniel in the end.
It's so obvious to me that it's like, this is not who she genuinely is. And guys, if you want to comment, if you've done online dating, if you have an opinion about Issa doing online dating,
Let
like,
us know.
let us know. Hop in the live chat. We have it up. We're reading it. So, okay. So Felix leaves her hanging, and then meanwhile we see Molly, and she's hanging out with Dro, her friends since she was young. They went to college together. They're laughing, and Dro's like, "Oh, what about him? What about him? What about him?" And Molly's like, "Oh, he's too short. He's too this. He's too that."
Yeah.
Which seems very much like her character, but then it also is like, why is she turning down every guy that Dro is proposing at this party?
Because it's Miley. She finds something wrong with everybody else except herself.
Yes. I'm like, Molly, nobody's perfect. Okay, we do have the chat up. Someone's tried Match.com. Let's see.
I've actually heard that Match.com was...
Yeah.
I have a friend who... And I helped him find this girl. They're
Really?
getting married
See?
this year
It
from
works.
Match.com.
It works.
I've totally forgot about
It
that.
works.
That's
I
crazy.
mean, it happens, you know. I think some people do find love online dating. Some people probably don't.
So maybe it depends on which site you're using as to how serious they take the dating.
Yeah. Gospel says Issa is just too thirsty.
Too thirsty.
We
I think
agree.
it's Trini Boy.
Need some
Issa
more.
reminded me of Melanie from the game after she and Derwin broke up and she cut her hair. Yeah,
Oh,
if you guys
okay.
have ever seen the game, it's very similar.
Yeah.
She was like, I'm going to be out here. And maybe that's just how some people deal with heartbreak.
I think a lot of people do that way.
I'm not like totally judging her that much either, because you know, after a breakup, sometimes you just want like attention and to feel good.
Yeah.
To have fun.
I mean, essentially, Issa and Lawrence are doing the same thing. They're just doing it different ways.
Mhm.
They are.
So, like, I get that. I think Issa had the right idea with just going out with your girls, getting cute, getting lit. Like, I'm all
Yeah.
for that. She just, like, you know, becomes her awkward character. At the
She
end of it,
does.
you know, like, and that's where, like, we
Man.
really see Issa.
She's definitely an awkward one. So Molly and Dro, and Molly's like, no, I'm good on him, good on him. So they decide to dance together. And at first it starts out, you know, kind of an innocent little two-step.
Dro is trouble.
Right, he is trouble. Then slow motion comes on, and it turns into the kiss and grind. The grinding is happening, and I think Molly has the light bulb come up like, hey, this might be kind of inappropriate for a married man.
Yeah, you're married.
Yes, which I agree. I mean, you should not be bumping and grinding
Yeah.
Yep.
at the club if you're a
Mm.
married
I
man.
have a problem.
Right. So, you know, Molly comes to her senses and she's like, okay, let me walk away. And that's when Dro follows her and he says, oh, don't worry about Candace, his wife, because we have a open marriage.
Ooh.
So, ladies, what are your thoughts on this?
I don't know. I just, off the top of my head, after watching that episode, I was like, I couldn't do it. I don't know. I don't know that I could be in an open relationship, because I feel like if I'm married, like, and it took me a lot to get to that point, I wanted to just be me and that person.
But would you participate if you were Molly?
And
Like you're not in the marriage. You
Okay,
can
if
come
I
and
would?
go as you please. You don't owe anybody an explanation.
I personally wouldn't. I wouldn't, because there's such a fine line of where you could catch feelings for that person and
Yeah.
then what you're gonna do. That's literally like why I wouldn't do it. Because
Right.
I'm all for like embracing your sexuality, doing whatever you want, fine. But like, it just can't go anywhere after a certain point. So if you catch feelings, like you did that to yourself.
Yeah.
True.
So, I don't know. What do you
True.
think?
Yeah. I think. Okay, so I'll speak as Molly. I don't think
Okay.
that she should do it, because her and Dro in particular, they have history.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you said, there's feelings gonna get involved. The wife is gonna be able to catch on to that, and then it's gonna turn from an agreement or an arrangement to, okay, there's something else going on here.
Right.
And I can very easily see them going down that road.
Yeah, my first thought when he said that was, do we really even know that the marriage is open? Like,
Yes.
this might
Yeah.
just be
It's
Dro,
just his word.
How can we take
right,
his word?
wanting to hook up with Molly. You know, I think for her, she would probably need both of them to come and say, yes, this is an open marriage. We really do have this situation going on, because he might just be saying that. You know, we don't really know if he has the open marriage. And then I can see, I agree, like, she could catch feelings. I think in the long run, I don't see it
like
going
I said,
anywhere.
that history is there.
Right.
You know, he's a good-looking guy. He has that voice.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. I don't think Molly should do it. She can find way better. She's already met someone who is
Hello, Lionel.
perfect.
I know.
Sterling K. Brown. What
Like,
else do you
come
need?
on.
That's so
Don't
true.
understand.
She could meet someone better.
Yeah.
Start fresh with someone else, and then think about her relationship with Candace, like his wife.
Exactly.
If you're gonna ruin a friendship, potentially catch feelings for someone who's already taken. Like, it's just too messy.
All for what?
Yeah.
Too messy while she's still trying to figure out herself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no.
And Molly already has enough issues of her own.
Exactly.
She doesn't need this.
She doesn't. She's
So-
not in therapy anymore to try to, you know, work through what
Right.
an open relationship would bring. So,
So
I don't
what
know.
would you guys do if you were Candace, so you get married and you guys are having issues, and then all of a sudden your husband proposes to you? Let's try having an open marriage. I can't even say it with a straight.
No. I got married to be married. If I
Right.
wanted to date around and do that, I wouldn't be married.
Yeah, no,
Agreed.
no, thank you.
Yeah.
That's just so fine for that. Like, you
Right?
think I'm gonna let
Right.
you out? I already locked that down. Absolutely not.
Okay.
People in the chat aren't going for it either.
Yeah, it says he may have said they have an open marriage, but his wife knows that. But his wife knows, rolls eyes. Akima says, I think there are more people participating in open marriage nowadays by giving passes and joining in threesomes.
Hey, Kima.
I like what Mayer Jennings said.
Didn't he say something like it's hard trying to be everything to one person?
Yes, he
That was
did.
a good line.
But
He
that's
did
what
say that.
marriage is.
Yeah, that's true. It's like if you don't want that, maybe you shouldn't get married. You know?
Exactly.
I don't know. Like, years and years of being with somebody, like, you're bound to change. So I can.
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
I've
You
never
should
been
grow.
married before, so I can't
Yeah.
begin to speak from a place like I know.
Yeah.
True.
From someone outside looking in, like, I can see how that can be hard
Mhm.
to keep
Definitely.
up with how your partner's changing and being that person for them and what they need all the time. I get that. For some people, that's the solution. For some people, it's divorce. So
Yeah.
some people may look at that as like the lesser of two evils, like
I
to
could-
just work it
yeah.
out
Mhm.
rather
I
than
could see
splitting. But
At the same
It's tough.
time, I don't think that. So yes, your partner should be, there for you, but I don't feel like when you're married to someone, they have to accept the pressure of being everything.
Exactly.
Like, you have family, you have friends, all those different people fill different voids in your life. So
Mhm.
having that husband and wife to say that they are to fill every void and be there, that's a lot of pressure
That's
that I
impossible.
wouldn't want to
Mhm.
fully accept, and I wouldn't want to put that on someone else to
Right.
say you're my everything. That's a
I-
lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. I agree, and I think, and I've never been married, so obviously
Me
we're
neither.
speaking from like a maybe perspective because we haven't
Right, right.
But you would hope that you do have family, friends, hobbies, career that kind of balances out, so that
Yeah.
you don't have to depend on your spouse for
Mhm.
every little thing. And I do think that's interesting what they mentioned, that a lot of people are giving passes, which isn't necessarily an open marriage, but it's like, okay, I give you one pass a year to hook up with somebody. It just seems complicated
No.
to
That
me.
is grounds for danger.
It is.
That's
Grounds
just
for
like
danger.
messy.
If you're in an open relationship, you've established rules, and the communication is the biggest part of that.
Yes.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So if your communication is good and you both agree that this is your open relationship, you're expecting that instead of like, oh, I gave you a hall pass this year, and you never want to know, did they use it? Did they not?
Right.
And then like, oh, you didn't use it, but I used 2 last year. Like, it's just,
And then I used them with your friends.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
you just
even
never
worse.
know.
another,
No.
wait a minute, like,
You never
friends
know.
Are they in that? Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
whole
No,
other
see, someone could get hurt.
sketchy territory.
Yeah.
I would not go there.
But yeah, someone said different strokes, different folks, and that's true. I think
Yeah.
for some people,
It's your life.
that's what makes them happy, and I think every couple just has to figure out, what
works
will
for
make
them.
them ultimately happy, and who cares what everybody else
Yep.
thinks.
And that's what he said. He said this works for us, so that's great.
Yeah. So, meanwhile, while this is going on, we come back to Lawrence, right? And he's sitting on the couch, he's chilling, And he texts his chat like, you know what, bruh, I'm probably not gonna make it. I'm busy. And he's like, what do you mean you're flaking on me? And that's when the girl comes up and licks his face, which I cringed.
Yes.
And sends the selfie, and I'm like, oh my God, I just knew this was gonna go bad. From that moment on, I was like, it's not gonna go good for him.
Maybe she just didn't want her lipstick to stick.
Oh,
maybe
that's why she licked his face
That's
first.
why.
Fun fact, you guys, if you lick your glass, I just learned this weekend, if you lick your glass before you drink out of it and you have lipstick, it will not stick on there. So there you go. That's
Good
why
to
she
know.
licked his face.
Yeah, for the ladies. Good tips, right? She's doing this very awkward, sexy dance to The Weeknd, and she's like, do you know The Weeknd? I love this. You know, and I think Lawrence knows at that point what's going to happen.
Oh, he knows.
But I think even then he thought, I'm going to hook up with her.
Right.
I don't think he thought, I'm going to hook up with both of them.
I think maybe he did, but then he realized, like, I'm not Superman
Yeah.
later. Because he really had both, one on top, one on bottom.
He
Like,
tried.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you tried it,
He
Lawrence.
really
He
tried.
did. He tried. So, you know, he's on the couch. He's kissing one of the girls. Another girl comes up, and he's like, oh, shit, it's going down.
Yeah.
Threesome up in here. And supposedly, this is every man's fantasy, right? To have a threesome with two women, and they're both all on you. Let's see what they say in the chat. Thought they were going to rob him. Oh, no. Once again, where are the condoms? Which we talked about last episode.
We did.
No condoms shown. Which I think maybe it's implied.
They
like-
addressed it on Twitter.
Yeah, Issa did address it on
Issa
Twitter.
tweeted out that, like, they put it in the background for a lot of their scenes, but they're going to try and do better for season 3, which I think
Right.
is really important.
Yeah,
'Cause, like,
I agree.
I noticed that right away. Every
Mhm.
sex scene, I'm like, you just raw dogging it? I was like, what's going on?
Well, even
Yeah.
if they don't, I mean, I don't feel like they have to go as far as showing it being put on, but maybe they could show the rapper
Yeah.
or show like
Right.
it laying on the floor, something like
Mhm.
that, or even like talk about it.
Yeah.
Maybe we do need to have that
Mhm.
conversation just for awareness.
Yeah, I agree. And Issa did address it on Twitter and saying, you know, if you look closely, you can see like the rapper on the nightstand. But they're also like in a lot of shows and movies, you don't really see the condom use.
You don't.
You're right.
But maybe
You
it's
don't.
because Insecure is so real,
Yeah.
and we relate to it so much. We're like, why aren't they wrapping it up? That's
Yeah.
what I think.
Yeah.
I think also, too, like, a show like this that's catching a lot of attention right now with such a major audience. It's such a great platform to push safe sex as well. I mean,
Mhm.
it is HBO. Like, they're not entitled to push
Right.
anything
Yeah.
that they don't want to, but I just think that's a missed opportunity to, like,
Yeah.
promote
Yeah.
safe sex.
Gwen says, couldn't believe the look on Lawrence's face when the other girl came over.
Yeah.
That sex scene came out of nowhere. Akima says, I couldn't agree with a threesome. I understand, girl.
Yes.
So we cut to the scene. We have one girl riding his face. We have one girl riding him. And he looks overwhelmed.
Yeah, he
at that
did.
moment. Like, what did I get myself into?
I think at one point he tried to say something, but he
Yeah,
couldn't.
he could. He had like a girl on top, girl at the bottom. It's
Oh
like,
my gosh.
I think, and I'm not a man, which is why we're gonna get some male opinions. Anyone in the chat that is a guy, please
Yes,
let us know your
please.
opinions. But I think to have two women, it just sounds like it would be overwhelming for a man, unless
Yeah.
you have really high stamina, which Lawrence obviously.
Unless you're LaMarcus.
Right.
Oh,
Unless you're
LaMarcus is
LaMarcus.
putting it down according to the girls.
You
Right.
can handle it.
And then they were just in the chat. So we have this very awkward racial sex talk
Yeah.
about like, oh, your big black cock. And I was like, oh, girl,
That was very
please,
uncomfortable.
very uncomfortable.
And I want to say, didn't Lawrence even kind of like laugh at that?
Yeah. And to me, it's very like, it was a fetish thing for them. Like,
Very
oh,
much
you
so.
know,
Total
Very
fetish.
much.
like, oh, I have this black guy in my bed.
Yeah.
And it was really uncomfortable, actually.
That was uncomfortable for me as a black woman watching
Yes.
that, and it
Very.
makes me like wonder if black men who do hook up with white women and who fetishize them, like, is that what they're looking for? Because that to me would just turn me off.
Yeah,
Like,
completely.
just completely just focusing on the fact that I'm black, like while we're trying to have sex, it's just so wrong on so many levels. It's
Yeah.
weird. I don't know.
It was very creepy, very racial. And then, you know, he didn't really let that get into his head, that sexy talk. And she came, and he came.
Mhm.
And in his mind, he's like, whew, okay, I'm done.
It's
I'm
over.
done. I'm out. And then
Little did he know.
Little did he know. And someone said she was saying the Frank Ocean lyrics when she came.
Oh my gosh.
Novocaine. Was that really Novocaine? It might have been.
It might have been.
I love that song too. It might have been.
That's hilarious.
So then, right. So then the other girl, she gets on top and she's like, "Are you soft? Like, what's happening? I want some too. This is a threesome. What's going on?" And Lawrence is like, "Go, give me a minute. I got it. I can figure this out."
He
and
was
it's like,
trying so hard.
trying so hard.
And they're just sitting there, they're looking at him
Like,
like, what are you gonna do, Lawrence?
Any day
Get it together.
now, get it together. And like any man, well, most men, except for LaMarcus, you know, he probably needed at least 10 or 15 minutes to like.
Can we get a water break?
Get a water break.
Granola bar or
maybe
something?
break. Maybe eat some, you know, just get some more energy.
Need some electrolytes?
Right. Some electrolytes, a Gatorade, like something. And they are unimpressed. She's like, I'm done with this. Then they mention, you know, the best black guy to ever do it, LaMarcus, which to me was a huge trigger. Like, this is a racial hookup thing.
Yeah. He didn't seem to really care that much.
He didn't seem. He was just kind of like, this is weird, which it was weird.
Yeah.
They get up, they start doing coke and talking about getting Thai food and
so LA.
So LA.
So LA.
I was just like, this will be a story for him to tell 30 years down the line, you know, about his random hookups. And it seems like he was thinking about a lot in that moment, or kind of like feeling, even though he came, feeling very unsatisfied.
Yeah.
And I think we can see that from the next scene because, you know, he's in the car. Chad's like, "Bro, how was it? Did you smash? Was everything you ever thought it would be?"
Chad is hyping it
right,
up.
hyping it up. Like, "Oh, I know you were Superman in there, just getting it in." And Lawrence plays into it a little. He's like, "Yeah, it was great, really fun, you know, I had a great time." But meanwhile, we pan out and we see that he's parked outside of the dunes, which is Issa's apartment. So what do you guys think that means?
Well, first of all, Lawrence is not about this life. I'm not gonna say I applaud him, but he's trying to move on. But he's moving on in Chad's way, not Lawrence's way. This is not Lawrence behavior. I mean, he's a man, whatever, but I think sooner rather than later, Lawrence is gonna stop all this nonsense. Because I almost feel like he's trying to convince himself that this is what he's supposed to be doing, and he's trying to convince, you know, prove to his friend Chad that, you know, I don't care about Issa, so this is how I'm going to get over her. When clearly, as we see, that's not the case.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's only a matter of time before he gets tired of the games and wants to go back to what he's familiar to. But I will say this was probably the one part of the episode that felt a little unrealistic to me because I don't know about your personal dating experience, but at least with what I found with myself and with some of my closest girlfriends, it's like the guy, like, they showed us what we wish our exes were doing. Sitting outside our house, wondering how we're doing, and wishing they could be with us, when in reality, they're at the club, like, pouring Henny or just out or doing their own thing, like what we saw him doing before.
And
so
he got cheated on.
Yeah, and so I thought it was interesting how they showed both, because in my mind, like, when me and a guy are done, I assume that they're just like, I'm done, not thinking about you, doing their own thing.
Right.
So it's cool to see Lawrence kind of struggle to be that and then come back to this place of wanting Issa back and wanting back that familiarity. So I just thought that was interesting. I was like, I don't know that would happen in real life.
But does him sitting in front of the apartment mean that he wants Issa back, or is he tired of the single games and the single life?
You know what? I think it's probably a little bit of both. I think it's a feeling of like he's having this sex, but it's empty sex, right? Because it doesn't have emotions in it, and I think he's realizing that's not as fulfilling as being with somebody that you love and having sex with someone that you care about, at least for his character. And I agree that he's putting on the front, like, this is what I want, this is what I should be doing, like, I was cheated on, I'm going to show that I'm the man, kind of. But it's clear that's not exactly where his head and heart is. So that's interesting. In the chat, we have Marie. He wants Issa and that old life back.
Yep.
Gospel says, I thought he should go wash this thing off and not head over to Issa. Was Tasha going to be his next stop?
Ooh.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, maybe it's not even just
right.
Issa. Maybe it's just what he knows.
Yeah,
that's
that's
what I
true.
think.
Because I actually didn't think about Tasha in that moment, but that's true. Like, that's who he's been spending the past few months with.
Yeah,
so.
because if Tasha was still an option, better believe he would have been over there and not at the Dunes.
Yeah.
So that's why I say I don't even know. Of course he loves Issa, but I don't know if it's so much as he wants her back. He just wants stability and like regular life back. That's what I think. Especially what he just freaking experienced with these two girls.
Yeah.
That was like extreme though. Like nobody just walks into threesomes every casual
That's true.
Tuesday, you know?
From the grocery store, mind
Right.
you. Like, the least sexual place you could be is the grocery store.
You meet people in the grocery store.
Do you? I mean,
The most unexpected places is where you meet people.
yeah, I've heard that. So, maybe the grocery store, that's where it's at,
See?
y'all.
Y'all don't need to be in the
Right.
club. You need to be in the grocery store.
Go to the grocery
your local
store.
Vons, Ralph, you know.
Someone said the class thing with Tasha, I know that's come up a lot. They may come from different backgrounds maybe, and that's an issue they had. The fact he was sitting outside of her apartment like that means he misses her. I agree on some level. I agree with Gwen that there's something there.
Okay.
So I'm
Yeah.
sure it's 4 episodes left. I'm sure we're gonna see
We will find out.
where that goes. And it could get tricky because meanwhile we have the girls. They are done with the day party. They did their flirt. They did their dance. They're good. They're ready to go. And before they walk out, Molly says, "Hold on one moment. I'll catch up with y'all." Which I feel like as their girls, they should have been like, "Girl, where are you going?" Because she already said he mentioned the open marriage, but they let her do her thing.
Yeah.
And she goes to Dro, and she's like, "I'm about to head out." Says goodbye. I feel like you can feel the sexual tension between them in the air. Like, it's just sizzling. And he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna text you later." And she says, "Okay." So you're like,
She kind of left the door open.
She did. She left the door open. She's not saying like a hard no, at least in this scene.
Right.
So like this happens all the time. I feel like you and your girlfriends are out, somebody meets a guy, and it's like, "Oh, let's go grab food afterwards, after the party, after the club, whatever."
Yeah.
So they do that. They go to the restaurant. It's the girls, Kelly's boo, Kelly, and I guess some random guys that they all met. And of course, who would be there?
Mr.
But
Daniel.
Mr. Daniel, waiting for, not waiting, but he's sitting there with his friends too, right? And so I think after they had the awkward encounter, now they're just kind of cool and they say, "Oh, hey, what's up?"
Yeah.
And go and do their own thing. So
But Kelly, though.
Kelly,
She's a hot mess.
she is a hot mess.
mess.
She is a mess. I'm like, girl, at the diner, like, can we wait till we get home?
Can we get some
That
hand
felt like-
wipes, some hand sanitizer?
Yeah.
Ew.
Touching the table. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, that was. I was
That's
like,
some middle school stuff. Going out.
Yeah.
Like,
We whole adults, okay?
Right.
We have an apartment. You have an apartment. Like, come on.
I'm like, girl, you are not that drunk. Like, come on now.
it's a cheat day. It's a cheat
Right,
day.
it's a cheat day.
Cheat day.
So while this is going on, we have Issa sitting in the middle, and then we have Molly over here, and Issa kind of tries to get her attention, like, "Hey, girl, do you see what's happening?" And Molly is distracted. She gets a text from Dro. He's like, "Where y'all at?" She's like, "I went to grab food after. We're wrapping it up soon." And he's like, "Okay, so what are you doing after?" She says, "I'm going home." And then he says, "Do you want company?" So clearly he is throwing it all out there.
He's putting it out there.
He's like, "Do you want this D or no? Like, what's happening?"
Right.
And so first we see Molly reply back, "Oh yeah, maybe," like being flirty and kind of opening that door for him to come over. And then she comes to her senses, thank God.
Good job, Molly.
Right, good job, Molly. And she says, "No, I'm tired, I'm good." And that's the end of that, maybe. So
Maybe.
what do you guys think? Do you think that's gonna go somewhere? Do you think she made the right decision?
I think she made the right decision, but I still think it'll go somewhere.
Okay.
I feel like she probably shut it down for right now.
Yeah.
She's out. Knowing someone like Molly who's very calculated and likes to have she has a good head on her shoulders. I feel like she's gonna take some time to think about it, talk it over with Issa again, mull it over enough in her mind until either Dro does something to make her be like, "All right, whatever, I'm just gonna go for this," or she just walks away from the situation. But I don't think this show would introduce him like this just for it to be over that quick. Like, I feel like it's gonna continue somehow with those two.
Right. What do you think?
I agree.
You agree?
Again, like I said last episode, I was an extra on an episode, so
Oh, yeah, you have the insider
I'm not
knowledge,
gonna
girl.
say anything.
Okay, so I think that kind of shows us where that may be heading. We will see. But I do think she made the right decision,
She definitely did.
I hope that she sticks with that, but I feel like she's probably not.
Because even if she does go through with it later down the road, I think she did the right thing right now by not so much acting on impulse. Like, take time to think about it, really decide, is this something that you really want to do? If so, go for it. And if not, then it is what it is.
I just hope she makes sure that it's really an open marriage if she's going to do it.
Right.
Because I would hate to see her become like, oh, the home, quote unquote, home wrecker, and she ruins things with Candace. You know, just make sure this is really the situation. So we cut to like the last final part of this scene, and Issa is stuck in the middle of Molly texting Dro and Kelly getting fingered, and it's very uncomfortable, obviously. Who would want to be stuck in the middle of that? And then Daniel kind of notices, and they have like a moment where they smile and laugh, and he sends her a quick text like, is your girl getting fingered under the table? And it kind of, I think that was a big icebreaker for them, you know? Like, we can be cool, we can be friends, maybe even possibly more. Because we see Issa get up, she grabs her plate, she goes over to where Daniel is at the table, she sits down, they start talking and laughing, and, you know, that's where the episode comes to a close. So, predictions, ladies.
Who wants to go first?
What do we think? I'm gonna let whoever wants to go first.
I'll go first.
Okay.
I'll take a crack at predictions. I think that, okay, in terms of Molly, I kind of said it before that I think Dro is going to give it another shot. And I think this time maybe she'll give in. And we'll see how that plays out. Because there's so many different, like, relationship dynamics on the show. So we'll see Molly go that route. I think with Issa, though, I feel like I don't think that her and Daniel are gonna rush into like being anything, but just like friends with benefits again,
right?
And maybe just go back down that path, just like Lawrence, going to what's familiar. And she's already been with Daniel, and then with Lawrence, I feel like he might end up like seeing Daniel and Issa hanging out together, and then like jump to conclusions and think that like she might have completely moved on, because the last time he had heard anything about her was, I think, his friend Chad telling like, oh, she came by looking for you. He probably still thinks he has like the ball in his court on what to do next. And I feel like if he actually sees her like moving on, then it'll crush him. I don't know what's gonna happen after that, but I think that'll happen. Like, I don't think they, like I said, I don't think they would introduce Daniel or Joe or people like this for them to just go away.
Right. You took all the words out of my mouth. So to add on to that, I feel like you said, I think Lawrence is kind of gonna like mess around, and he might almost lose Issa because she is all about this whole life right now, and being single and being fun, and she might end up having so much fun where it's kind of like, well, you were brushing me off for so long, like now I'm not even thinking about you. So that's what I think for Issa. Molly, I think Molly is gonna self-sabotage herself with this new guy, whether it's Dro, I don't know. All I know is she needs to get back in counseling ASAP. So hopefully next episode she's back in there.
I hope.
And yeah, I'll leave it at that.
I think you guys basically covered it. I agree with everything you said. I do think Molly has a tendency to self-sabotage, and I'd be surprised if she changes that in the next few episodes and decides to like stick with the smarter option. So I do think that's coming. I feel like she's probably going to hook up with Dro, and that's going to become a hot mess because it's just, I have a feeling that's where it's leaning towards. I don't know about Issa and Daniel. I think that's building to something. And I do agree that I think it might become to a place where Lawrence is finding like, oh, I do want to make this work. And Issa's like, you know, I'm over this. Like, you've taken too long, and...
Yeah, like how long can you continue to pay for what you did?
Exactly. Especially with her and Daniel at least being friends, and they've always had that chemistry. I think that might go somewhere maybe. And we do want to mention, of course, that Insecure has been renewed for season 3. So have many more episodes to look forward to next
Yes.
year.
It's exciting.
Very exciting, but we're going to wrap up this after show right now. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. My name is Mariel Turner. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Mariel_Turner.
And thank you to everyone in the chat. We love you guys. Thank you for commenting. Make sure you subscribe and hit the 5 stars on iTunes. I'm Ashley Allen, and you can find me on all social media at Ashley Reed Allen.
And I'm your host, Christine Alexis. You can find me all over social media at Christine Bean. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week.
And we do want to mention special guests
Special guest.
next week, so tune in. You don't want to miss it.
From executives Kevin Undergaro, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio, Instagram at KingXOBet. Thanks for tuning in.
Hollywood redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.